addressing the media for the first time since being hired last week. Our Giants reporter Jordan Renan was in the room today. Jordan, what stood out to you from Harbaugh's introductory press conference?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Look, I've been to a lot of these over the past decade or so. I mean, there's been Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, Brian Daboll. Probably too many that for the Giants to actually like. But this was a little different, bigger in size and anticipation, probably because of the background, the resume that a man like and a coach like John Harbaugh has at this point. There was even a tent back here that was filled, it's right here to my left right now, that was filled with food and drinks for family, sponsors, people in the organization. Everybody from the organization was pretty much out here. There was more than like 200 seats for everyone. So a big show. And even when I was speaking to John Harbaugh, he even mentioned that to me. This was something he's never seen before. And trust me, I was actually at his introductory press conference in Baltimore. This, in scale of size, was significantly bigger. And when I talked to John Harbaugh one-on-one, I asked him, what was this about this job that proved that this was the place for him?
The biggest thing was my dad liked the team, and we talked about that in the press conference. He liked what he saw on tape, so that made me feel good because it was like, wow, I think my dad sees what I see, and these guys have a chance to be good. That was important, and then also the family, the organization, the people here. That's number one critical factor.
How much of that was Jackson Dart? Like, what did you see because you obviously watched tape of him, you did your personal evaluation. What did you see and what did you like?
Well, the quarterback's the biggest piece. I mean, everybody talks about you got to have a quarterback. So the Giants have a quarterback, so that makes you, that kind of opens the door. I think that's what gets started. Then when you meet Jackson, you get to know him, you start talking football with him, see how passionate he is about it. That kind of seals the deal.
Yeah, the quarterback's the biggest piece. That was quite revealing there from John Harbaugh. And I spoke to someone who's close to Jackson Dart, and what they told me was when John Harbaugh came in for his interview, he sat down and talked one-on-one with Jackson Dart for close to 2 hours, and both parties left extremely impressed with each other, and that played a significant role in getting to this point. Now, this is John Harbaugh's second act, right? His mentor, Andy Reid, has had quite a successful second act in Kansas City. John Harbaugh actually said he'd sign right now for the same second act that Andy Reid has, which, by the way, includes 3 Super Bowl wins. And Andy Reid's advice to him was very simple. 4 words. Change can be good.
I like that. Great advice. Also, Jordan, I hope they let you get some snacks out of that snack tent. If they didn't, we need to work on that.
I don't think I need them, Laura. I think we're
Oh
good
my
here.
goodness. Appreciate you. Great stuff. Let's read and react to some more coaching news across the league. A lot to get to. Let's start in Atlanta, where the Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach. Stefanski was fired by Cleveland after coaching the Browns for 6 seasons. So, Mina, does Stefanski make sense for Atlanta?
Yeah, I really like this hire. I think back to what Stefanski did with Nick Chubb 2022, really before then as well, in that, outside zone, under center run scheme in Cleveland. And I think about how good Bijan Robinson be in the same offense. And people listening to that might say, why would you base your offense around a running back? Well, he's their best player. And it's the offense that's also very favorable to quarterbacks as well. So I think it's a great fit. I think he's proven to be a good leader, and I'd be excited if I'm a Falcons fan.
Yeah, one of the best players in the league, right? To Detroit, where the Lions finalizing a deal to hire former Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing as their new OC. Petzing would be replacing John Morton, who was let go after just 1 season in the role. And this might explain why. In 2024, under Ben Johnson, the Lions called runs on offense at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. They also had the 4th best third down conversion percentage in the league. But last year, under OC John Morton, they regressed, dropping to 14th in calling designed run plays and 20th in third down percentage. Next season, Drew Petzing will be the team's OC after spending the last 3 seasons as Cardinals OC. Dan, you like that fit for the Lions?
For the run, for the marrying, and for the sequencing of play calling, I do. I think Petzing's really good in his run game stuff. I think the way he uses his tight ends is very good. The play action pass stuff, I really like. That's going to be the foundation of this offense. Do I think that they need to have someone in the building that really advances the drop back pass game and the pass game concepts? I do, because I don't think that's a strength of his, or certainly wasn't in Arizona. So there's a lot that I think marries up well with who Dan Campbell wants to be, and really who the talent or the players that they have strength-wise are in Detroit, yes. But I do think you want somebody that can get creative in your pass game concepts in the building, because that's not something that shined in Arizona.
It's going to be interesting, too, because remember, Dan Campbell, of course, took over play calling from the previous OC, John Morton, in Week 10 last season. He's always been really involved in the offense, but what's Campbell's role with Petzing and then maybe whoever they bring in to help with the pass game? All right, continuing on today, with a smile on my face, John Harbaugh, the fourth former Super Bowl winning coach over the last 25 seasons to take over a team coming off a season of 4 or fewer wins. It happened last year when the Raiders hired Pete Carroll. It was one and done after going 3-14, though. Doug Peterson took the Jaguars to the playoffs in his first season in the prior instance. Mina, the big question for him in this organization, though, is who comes in as OC? He's talking about his relationship with Jackson Dart, but how important is that hire going to be for Dart's development when it comes to his future?
Obviously, this is a huge hire, a huge decision for John Harbaugh, especially given where Jackson Dart is in that development. Year 2 is so important for these young quarterbacks. When I first heard Todd Monken being thrown around as a possible offensive coordinator, and I know he's done some head coach interviews, I absolutely loved that idea. I think Monken did a fantastic job in Baltimore, not only, of course, dealing with another mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson and designing the run game to highlight those skills, and the run game should and will be the focus in New York. But also, I think, Monken showed a lot of creativity, called a very modern offense, an offense that constantly iterated, was very different from what he did early in his career. I loved how he used motion in the run game in particular, some very creative and interesting personnel, obviously, in Baltimore. So I would really like that hire if New York did it. I do think, and I know, Dan, we've talked about this, Dart is very mobile. His mobility is different from Lamar's. They're going to have to call a different sort of QB run game, and also an emphasis has to be on getting Dart to protect himself because he's not Lamar Jackson in the open field. But on the whole, I would love that idea, and I hope it happens if I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, obviously the hire of coordinator is going to be a big deal, and then I think that's kind of the next step for this organization and or football team is some of the question marks. One, with your own roster. Are you going to re-sign your right tackle, Illuminor? And there was some pretty good play out of him this year. And then second, who's going to be the pass catcher opposite Malik Neighbors? I'm not sitting here telling everybody it has to be this unbelievable wide receiver, but it's got to be a pass catcher, whether it's a tight end as well. Theo Johnson did some good things. I think that the interior of their offensive line has to develop and grow and have some added pieces. So, and then add to the secondary from a full team perspective. And so I'm one of those people that I think when you bring up in a coach like this that understands how to win and really how not to give away games, you can get pretty competitive pretty quickly. I don't think that this is put this in them as the number 1 seed in the playoffs next year. But I do think if they figure out some of the pieces on their offensive line and get a competent wide receiver, or really an upper echelon wide receiver opposite Malik, I think this is a team that can contend for the playoffs.
It'll also help to get Cam Scadaboo back, which he's in line to potentially be back by training camp, should be huge for that offense. All right, so this coaching carousel continues to spin, but some of these vacancies are being filled. Some news breaking late last night as the Tennessee Titans finalizing a deal to hire 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh as their next head coach. Saleh spent Monday with the organization where both sides impressed each other enough to move forward. So Saleh, with his defensive background, takes over a Titans team that was a bottom 3 offense in the NFL last season in several categories: scoring, passing, rushing, analytics. They ranked 30th in all of them. And he will have 2025 number 1 overall pick Cam Ward and the 2026 4th overall pick to work with. I think that number 4 overall pick pretty huge too, to see where they go when it comes to supporting Cam Ward. But Dan, a lot of people expected the Titans to go offensive here. This vacancy was the first one that really came down, and we were thinking, would it be Stefanski? He ends up going to the Falcons. Do you like this hire with Saleh coming in?
I like the hire, but I want to see who the offensive coordinator is. I think Robert Saleh is a good coach. I do think that he was dealt a difficult hand in New York, specifically on the offensive side. But it's all going to come down. It's not that different than the Giants situation. Who he hires as his head coach. Is it going to be Mike McDaniel if he doesn't get a head coaching job? Is it going to be Mike LaFleur that he can bring, that he had with him in New York? Is it going to be Matt Nagy, who was part of the Chiefs and maybe in some of the head coaching cycles and might be departing from Kansas City? I think the most important thing for me, MK, is you have a special talent in Cam Ward. I truly believe that. His ability to make some throws, I think he had as many wild throws as most high-end quarterbacks in the NFL this year. The biggest thing is you cannot hire somebody that coaches that magic out of him. It's a challenge because you do have to coach some of the sloppy out of it, some of that danger out of it, that carelessness out of him, no doubt. But you don't want to coach the special out of him. That's why this hire is huge, because I think there's some rare talent in him that can vault Tennessee, at least offensively, up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike McDaniel doesn't get a head coaching job this cycle, I'm throwing the biggest bag possible at him just for a year, right? Then he can go back to trying to be a head